boom sound. So of course that's very much his thing that we say boom. But yeah, he's an absolute joy, and I tell you what, I mean, he's about 6'4",
Yeah.
and I think he's underrated in terms of his ability, his feet. I mean, he's so quick, and even the goal, which was a brilliant goal on Saturday, came out with Chris Richards, long ball out of defence initially to I think to Mateta. He put it to Kamada, back to Mateta, who very cleverly turned, passed it on to Munoz.
Yeah.
Excellent pass across, and what a finish from Eze. I mean, they cut through Man City there like a knife through butter.
They
You know,
did.
having weathered the storm of the first 15 minutes, and it could have been, we could have gone down. But this is how against a team like Man City, Oliver Glasner wants to play. He said, let them have a go at you, and then it's as if Palace then feel their way into the game, get bit confident, find their way, and then get a goal. And the times that's happened this season, it's not. We don't play every team like that where you're just working on the break. But with a team as good as Manchester City, and let's face it, they are still in many respects the best, with great players like De Bruyne and others. Then you've got to have a plan that works. And interestingly, after the game where they beat Palace, while I was away in America, in fact, so I didn't go to that game.
Yeah.
At the end of that match where the Palace lost, Glasner, our manager, said to Pep Guardiola, well done. He said, but let me say, and he wasn't being arrogant. He's not that sort of guy. But if you play like that again when we next play you, we'll solve it. As he said, he's an Austrian chap. We'll solve it. And of course, that's what happened. They nullified the attack, the great attack of
They
City,
did. They did.
to the point that they lost their confidence. Really,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Not only nullified it, they also punished them as well. Because
Yeah, absolutely.
because when you look at the ball possession, Manchester City did great.
Oh, yeah,
Ball possession
yeah,
and everything. But every time Palace had the ball, they punished Manchester United. They either punished
yeah,
them with making them have to run back to defend
yeah,
or
yeah,
the goal. So I think there's somebody that we've not actually talked about, we don't actually mention, and that's Eberichi Eze.
yeah.
Now he was
Wonderful player.
is I'm just hoping that it doesn't get nicked by one of the
Yeah, it's a
dogs.
good point there. And I think one of the
Yeah,
things that came to my mind after the game when we were coming home
yeah,
was that first of all, Palace are now in Europe in the Europa League, so that's going to be
right,
some travels next year. We probably will go to some of the away games depending on
yeah,
where they are. But I know the final. We're already looking up where the final is. I think it's August sometime next year. July? No, perhaps it's not as late as that. Probably in May or June. Anyway, it's in
yeah,
Istanbul, so that could be an interesting one if we choose to go there. But yeah, so but as well as thinking about that, so thinking, what was I going to say? Think about getting into Europe.
yeah,
Oh yeah, but that's the other thing that the players we've been very concerned about losing, namely Mark Gay, um, Eberechi, Eze, and possibly even Adam Walton. The fact is, we were saying, well, we're actually in Europe now, and if they were to win that, the cup that Man United and Spurs are playing for
was it?
tonight in the final,
Yeah,
I believe they go into next year's Champions League,
Champions
or
League. Yeah,
that's how it's going to be. So so already we can say to those players, there's a great team spirit there. You can tell that. So there may be some sort of reluctance for them to want to leave the club anyway. But
yeah.
all players want to progress their careers and play in the Europe competition. For them to want to leave the club anyway. But
Yeah,
all players want to progress their careers and play in the Europe
of
competitions,
course. Yeah,
particularly the Champions League. Well, at
yeah,
least now they might think, well, I mean, Mark Gay's got a year to run on his contract. Very good player.
Yeah.
couldn't play last night because he had an injury to his eye, concussion, I believe, once in the final near the end.
Yeah.
And couldn't see out of his eye when he came on and was lifting the cup up. But anyway, but he may decide to run down his contract. There was a rumour to that effect because they want to see how far they can get in Europe. I hope Eze stays. He's such a great player. And Walton is a bit young, I think, to be moving on to another club. I hope that's how it is seen. I think Palace need to buy 2 or 3 decent players as not even as cover, but we do need strengthening. There's no question about it. Every team probably does. But if they do that and can hold on to those players, then I think we could be in for a very good season next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Adam Walton, I'm glad you mentioned him. Do we know his condition now? Because he was in a bad way.
He got concussion, I think. He actually was walking around the pitch last night after the match, apparently. With when they all the players had changed anyway when they brought some of their kids on. It was quite late to say thanks to the crowd. We'd left by that stage, but he looked all right walking around. But I think they said he had concussion. I can't quite remember. That may have been the same for both Gay and Walton. But he's obviously going to be okay. But I just hope these players stay at Palace. Now they've got a chance to show their talents across Europe. And it's great for the fans to know that. We'll see some good clubs come to the Palace as well. So, it's all good so far. It'd be disappointing to know that some might be leaving, but let's hope not.
Yeah. Now, if you was to buy players, what position would you be looking to reinforce?
Right, I think we have good midfield players, such as Walton particularly. Hughes has had a very good season when he's played. He's played a lot. Kamada's come on strongly. He was playing on Saturday as well in the final. I still think we could use a creative midfield player, not least to give competition to the others. And again, it depends to a large extent. If we are to lose someone like Eze, and some big club could come in for him, then we'd obviously want to try and replace him. I certainly wouldn't want to lose Mateta. He's a sort of an old-fashioned centre forward with great ability in his feet. Sometimes a big centre forward is a bit of a bludgeoner, and they just